welcome to my vegetable plot in July. And July is no different from any other month for the vegetable grower where there's always plenty to do. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'll be doing in July just to give you one or two ideas. Now there's always plenty to remember with vegetable growing, and when we get to July there's so much going on with harvesting and other jobs that we might need to do that are easy to forget if we don't keep on top of them. So then let's get on with it. Now here's an interesting job to do in July. Bag yourself a bargain. You don't have to look far to see the significant increases in the cost of living, and that's in all sectors of society. So if you can save yourself some money, then that's going to be a good thing, isn't it? Now yesterday I went into a large retail store and noticed that the retailer had discounted their vegetable and flower seeds by 50%. Everything was half price. Now depending on where you get your seeds from, the cost of seeds can be fairly expensive. So getting seeds at half price that can last a number of years is always going to be a good thing. As you can see, I bought a range of flower and vegetable seeds, and all the prices that you can see on the packets are the full price. So those are discounted by a further 50% of what I bought. So in total I paid roughly around about £12 or £13 for all the packets of seeds that you can see. So the vast majority of the seeds that I need for next year have now been purchased. If I was to purchase similar seeds online, I'm guessing I'll be paying round about 3 to 4 times more than what I've paid. So in July, definitely go around your garden centres and stores and look online to see what bargains you can pick up, because it's an excellent month where suppliers and retailers are discounting their products. Now because of the increased temperature in July, often you'll see an increase in aphid and insect activity in your vegetables. So in July you should be checking your vegetables to see if any are affected and dealing with them. These broad beans here did have an attack of black fly, and you can just see the remains of it just on the stem there. And the way I dealt with the black fly was to spray a very diluted solution of washing up liquid onto the black fly, and that got rid of them. Another way of slowing down black fly is to remove the growing tops once the broad beans start to appear, and this applies to all types of bean varieties. If you have things like squashes or courgettes, just check in the back of the leaves to see if there's any eggs being laid by insects or aphids and rub them off. But definitely in July, don't just leave your crops. So July is a month where you should be going around regularly checking your vegetables just to make sure they're not being attacked by any aphids or insects. And although not specifically a July job, it's worth checking any netting you've got over brassicas or any other vegetables just to make sure it's completely secure. As you can see here, I've got Swedes and cabbages and Brussels sprouts and kale. And even though if I look closely inside, there's the odd indication of 1 or 2 leaves being affected, but nothing serious, and that tells me the netting is effective. And a good time to check the netting is if you've had any periods of heavy rain or windy weather that could have affected the netting, is just make sure it's all put back in place. Now the problem with brassicas is that they get attacked by nearly everything, so over the summer months you must keep a check on your netting to make sure that nothing is getting inside. And if you do allow things to get inside, they'll become trapped in that environment, and things like cabbage white butterfly will just lay lots and lots of eggs all over your brassicas, which will eventually turn into caterpillars, and they'll consume your brassicas at an alarming pace. So definitely check your netting to make sure it's completely secure in the month of July. Now it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning here. I'm based in the middle of the UK. Temperatures today are predicted to be around about 28 degrees centigrade and full sunshine. Now in July, that heat gives us a lot of opportunities for doing different things that we wouldn't be able to do in the colder months. And that includes continuing to sow seeds, particularly directly outdoors. Now I have already prepared a recent video showing what seeds I'll be sowing in July, and I'll pop a link in that in the comments below. But I often find, talking to other vegetable growers, that July is one of those months where it's easy to forget to plant crops because you've got so much going on. Don't stop sowing your seeds. Things like your salad or summer vegetables such as your lettuce, your spring onions, your radish, etc. need to be continually sown over a regular period, and July is the month that you continue to do that. You'll also need to start thinking about sowing some of your autumn and winter vegetables as well. But definitely check out that video from the link below to see what vegetable seeds I'll be sowing in July. Now June going into July is an excellent month for picking soft fruit. I've had an amazing amount of strawberries. In fact, only yesterday I took my netting off because the strawberries now have nearly finished fruiting. There's one or two left. I've had pounds and pounds of strawberries and made lots of jam and fruit crumbles, which are now in our freezer, and use them just for general eating, and they've been absolutely brilliant. But they're coming to an end now, so I've taken the netting off them and I'll let the runners grow and they'll produce my plants for next year. But also rhubarb. Now this rhubarb here has been absolutely fabulous, and I've already had a lot of rhubarb. Now in July you want to start thinking about taking your last pickings of rhubarb. So what I'll do in 2 to 3 weeks time is take the remainder of this rhubarb, and then I'll start to prepare the plants for next year by mulching and watering. But again, the rhubarb for me has been absolutely amazing this year. I believe that to grow really successful rhubarb, you need to have it in a nice sunny position, and when you water, which is the crucial part, it needs to be watered regularly right down to the roots. I see a lot of people watering on the leaves, and that will give the plants some water, but you really need to get down there with your watering can and soak the roots. And I've done fabulously well again with rhubarb. And also in July, it's a time to pick your raspberries, and I've had so many raspberries. And as you can see here, there's more to pick today. And I've got a fridge full of raspberry jam. I've got a freezer full of fruit raspberry desserts. I make raspberry ripple ice cream. Now, if you do have raspberries, you need to pick them every couple of days because they ripen very quickly. And if you don't pick them within 2 days, firstly, the birds are likely to have a good feast, and secondly, they'll start to fall off the plants. So if you do have soft fruit like me, raspberries, rhubarb and strawberries, July is a superb month for harvesting and looking after those crops. Now I don't really want to dwell on watering too much because that's something you clearly need to do in warmer weather. These plants here, the ones growing up the canes, are outdoor ridge cucumbers. They're a variety called Market Moore 76. Now these need regular watering. Now although all crops require regular watering in warm weather, I do find that these outdoor cucumbers require more watering. As you can see here, they're starting now to make their way up the canes. I have to tie them up and they'll start to produce side shoots, and the bigger they get, the more water they need. So if you have got crops that are water hungry, make sure you keep on top of your watering, because the last thing you want to do after all that hard work of doing the seedlings and planting them out and getting into a really good stage, to neglect the watering could end up killing your plants, and that seems an awful waste of resource and time. So in warm temperatures, crops like these cucumbers here, they'll be watered every single day. Whereas other crops, depending upon the temperature, might not need to be watered that regularly, maybe once or twice a week. Now for my next job in July, I'm going to go back to the broad beans that we looked at a little bit earlier. As you can see, these plants now are starting to go yellow. And although I've harvested, I would say round about half of the broad beans, there's still plenty on there for me to pick. Once I've picked them, it's going to be time to clear this area and get the ground ready for something else. Now when you're clearing broad bean plants, don't dig the whole plant up. So once I've taken all the broad beans off here, what I'm going to do is cut the plant at ground level, and the top bit will go into my compost bin, which is over here. But I will leave the roots in the ground. And the reason for that is that the broad bean roots are covered with little nodules of nitrogen. And that nitrogen will be released back into the soil, which is going to be excellent for the ground. So when you remove your broad bean plants, get a set of secateurs and cut them right at ground level, and then put the tops of the plants into your compost bin and leave the roots in the ground. July is also an excellent time for feeding your tomatoes. Now I have got some tomatoes inside my poly house, but these are the outside ones. These are a variety called Momande. And July would be a good time to feed them. And there are lots of good tomato feed products on the market which you dilute with water. So if you are going to use those, make sure you follow the instructions on the bottle or on the packet. And the reason that you will feed your tomatoes is because they are quite a hungry plant for nutrients. And if they are outside tomatoes, like these ones that you're looking at here, they will need to be supplemented with things like potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc., just to give them an extra boost. I mean, there are signs such as you can see here, the leaves just starting to curl at the top there. And that's a suggestion this plant might need some more nutrients. So today they'll be fed with some tomato feed, just to give them that extra boost. And the final job that I'll include in this video, and it's something you can't really do a video like this without discussing, is weeding. You must keep on top of the weeding and don't underestimate the importance of doing that. Every vegetable plot has weeds. and they need to be dealt with. And as you can see here, the weeds around these onions need to be taken out, because weeds are like plants. They do require nutrients and water, and they'll compete with your vegetables if you let them grow. So regular weeding is really important, and that's something I'll need to do in areas like this on a regular basis. So that's some of the jobs that I'll be doing in July on my vegetable plot, and I hope that's given you 1 or 2 ideas. If you're doing jobs in your vegetable plot in July that I haven't covered, it'd be fantastic if you could put a comment below and let us know what they are, so that other viewers of the channel can benefit from your experience. And I'd really like to thank you for watching the video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to the channel for future videos on how to sow and grow fruit and veg and flowers, and 1 or 2 recipe ideas, don't forget to press the subscribe button. And I'll see you all on the next video.